Hi again, Mark here from TalkingBass.net. This week and in the coming few weeks, I've got a few exciting treats for you. After months of planning and recording, I'll soon be finishing and releasing the huge Bassic Fundamentals course. Now, I've had a lot of emails about this and I've been sending a few little updates on how it's all been going, and it should be coming out really soon. And for many people in the future watching this, it should have already been released. So I'm going to release a few lessons that are already in the bag, just as a taster of what's coming up. So the course is made up of 40 lessons, addressing all the stuff that bass players need to develop a good core foundation. There's everything from setting up the bass, through to buying an amp, through to music theory, sight reading basics, and much more. And it's for everybody from beginner to intermediate, really. I'm really proud of it and hope it's going to be really popular. It'll be available over at TalkingBass.net from the courses page, so just keep an eye out for that. There's a link to Talking Bass in the info below, so enjoy! The next thing I want to address with the fret in hand is the one finger per fret method. Now, in the major scale lesson, I showed you how to assign one finger to each fret, like this, in order to play the scale in the most efficient way and to help with moving that pattern around. So the scale almost turns into a digital pattern. I also mentioned, though, that it's not a rigid set in stone system. Now, some players get caught up in this one finger per fret method and they treat it like some kind of law. Well, occasionally it's a really good way of playing something. So if I'm playing something like this, it'd pretty much be pointless using any other system. You know, the hand is perfectly suited to playing each of those notes, you know, with that one finger per fret. And most one octave scales and arpeggio patterns are going to be pretty good candidates for that system. But it doesn't take long to find bass lines that just don't conform to that method. Even a simple line like this moves out of that one finger per fret system, you know, that 4 fret span. And something like that, like a Motown line, like, it's much easier to actually move that slide on the slide with the 4th finger there, which completely goes against that one finger per fret system, because if we were doing that, we'd be playing with the 3rd finger and then move in position, but it just doesn't work as well that way. You know, the fingers get all flappy and it just doesn't feel the same. Moving with the 4th finger and sliding up works a lot better. And like I said, that doesn't work with the one finger per fret system, okay? So like I've said, the one finger per fret system can sometimes just feel wrong. So if you take an octave pattern here at the F, let's say, 1st fret of the E string, 3rd fret of the D string. If I was to play that with a one finger per fret system, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I'd be playing the octave there with the 3rd finger. And apart from anything else, it just feels like too big a stretch and it just feels wrong. It's much more comfortable if I played that with the 4th finger. And you'll see most people playing octave patterns, you know, with 1st finger and 4th finger. Okay, so we don't use the 1st and 3rd finger for that. And like I say, in the one finger per fret system, we would be using the 3rd finger because the 3rd finger is assigned to that fret. You know, the 1st finger's there, 2nd finger for the 2nd fret, 3rd finger for the 3rd fret, 4th finger for the 4th fret in that position. So, like I say, it feels odd. 1st and 4th finger feels a lot better. A good way of thinking of your fingering in this really low area down here, in this first position down here, so anywhere kind of below the 5th fret, is to actually think of a 1, 2 and 4 fingering pattern for the fingers over 3 frets, okay? So if we were to start on the 1st fret, on the E string there, I could play the F with the 1st finger, then the 2nd fret, the F sharp with the 2nd finger, and then the 3rd fret, the G, with the 4th finger, okay? So I'm using 1, 2 and 4 over 3 frets, and that gives us the octave pattern. And for anything else, like the Motown line I played, I moved into the next position up, but I was staying, when I was down here, I'd got the 4th finger on the G there, you know, on the 3rd fret, and then just moved up into that next position. So that can make things a lot easier down there, rather than trying to rigidly stick to this one finger per fret that just doesn't feel right. And another way of thinking of this is also, especially when you get a little bit further up, is to just think of the first and fourth fingers as the outer limits of whatever line that you're playing. So if I move up a little bit more up to the E, let's say, 7th fret of the A string. Now, if I was playing an octave, I'd want to play with the first and fourth fingers because, I mean, if I've got nothing else going on there, because they're the outer extremes of that line that I'm playing. There's no need to move any higher up. So, first and fourth finger there. Now, if I was playing something like an E major scale starting on the first finger, which is a pattern that looks like this, now that's quite a big stretch on that pattern, and it moves outside of the 1 finger per fret system. So the 1 finger per fret would be a span of 4 frets. Okay? So starting there, 7th fret, 8th fret, 9th fret, 10th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4 with the fingers. But that pattern that I just played moves outside of that. It's actually 5 frets in distance. So, you know, what am I supposed to do with the first 1 finger per fret system? It won't accommodate that line. So again, like I say, the first and fourth fingers are the outer limits of that line. So for that line, I would play 1, and then I could either use the second or third finger. I'll use the second finger for the next note, then the fourth finger. So that's first finger, second finger, fourth finger over that large distance, because the first and fourth fingers were the outer limits. So that's 2 different ways of looking at the fingerings there. Like I say, if you're down in this low position, you're probably better off using the 1, 2, 4 position instead of the 1 finger per fret. Although, that said, if I was playing something like an F natural minor scale down here, then yes, I would use the 1 finger per fret system because it would just be inefficient to use any other system. Like I say, and I've said with the other lessons, context is everything. You want to find the way that works for the line that you're playing. Like I said, don't just stick to 1 finger per fret all the time. Find the correct way that works for you. And if you have to, you know, pivot the thumb like I mentioned in the last lesson, we can do that. So if it was a line like, you know, an F major scale starting on the first finger, yes, I could use the 1, 2, 4 system and actually move the hand a lot. But again, that might be inefficient. You don't want to be moving the hand too much. You want to try and stick to minimal movement. So for that, I might just use the thumb pivot. So 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4 in the fingers. So I'm actually using a fairly big stretch there, but I'm just pivoting the thumb. Okay? Different sized hands are always going to make a difference for people with this, especially when it comes to playing that 3 fret span. Because when you get further up here, especially beyond the 12th fret, your hands are going to get scrunched up a lot. You know, so if you get up here and you're trying to play like 1, 2, 4 there, it's just not going to work. So there's always going to come a point at which you do move into 1 finger per fret. So anything above here, I will be, you know, even an octave pattern there, I'll be playing with the first and third finger, you know, unlike down here where it'd be the first and the fourth finger. And like I say, depending on the hand size, it's going to change where that switch comes to, where you switch to 1 finger per fret. You just have to learn how that, you know, where that is. But like I say, you know, it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all again, and it's not going to be, you know, a strict rule. Try to avoid seeing it as strict rules and laws when it comes to which fingering to use. You know, it's all going to depend on what line you're playing, okay?